You know those big, deep questions we all ask ourselves on this wild ride we call life? I mean, the ones that kind of keep you up at night or just pop into your head when you're having a quiet moment. They really get to the heart of it, don't they? The very core of who we are. What is my purpose? Or am I even on the right path? I mean, come on, these are the universal questions, right? They're at the very heart of the human experience. And today, we're going to dig into a really surprising perspective on how you can start finding those answers for yourself. So, according to the source material we're looking at, the answers can come from a pretty unexpected place: mediumship. But, and this is a big but, it's framed in a really modern way here. We're not talking about just a chat with spirits of the departed. Think of it more like a tool, a way to tap into a wellspring of guidance to empower your living life, right here, right now. All right, let's talk about how this actually works in practice. To do that, we're going to look at the work of Tamila, who's known as the Mile-High Medium. Her whole approach is really focused on providing super clear guidance for personal growth, and we're going to see it all play out through a pretty fascinating case study. Okay, so we're going to follow an anonymized case study of a client. We'll call her Gretchen. She came in for what she called a birthday vibe check, which I love, by the way. She was just looking for a little guidance for her year ahead. But what she got? Whoa. It was basically a masterclass in reframing her entire world. So the session kicked right off with a really foundational theme: the idea of redefining the core concepts we use to, measure our own lives. And the first one they tackled? Prosperity. Now think about it. For most of us, when you hear that word prosperity, what's the very first thing that comes to mind? Yep, money, cash, financial security. It's a really, really narrow definition, and it's one that the guides in Gretchen's session challenged, right away. And this right here, this was the key that just unlocked a totally new perspective. The guides told her, and I'm quoting here, prosperity. It is a funny word because people always think of money, but it comes in many other forms that much more important than money. Just that one simple idea, it changed everything for Gretchen. So what were they getting at? Well, they were saying that true prosperity isn't just about your bank balance. It's about having rich relationships, vibrant health, a deep sense of inner peace. And by just recognizing this, Gretchen was instantly shifted into a state of gratitude for all the abundance she already had. And it's pretty cool because this exact same logic of looking within, it applied to relationships too. So yeah, the guides took that same look within logic and applied it straight to love. The wisdom wasn't about finding the perfect person out there somewhere. It was about becoming that person yourself. They said, you will have the ideal partner when you become your own ideal partner. It's just such a powerful reminder that so often our external world is just a mirror of what's going on inside. Okay, so this whole idea leads us perfectly into the next major theme of the session, which is all about moving beyond needing that external validation and instead tapping into the strength you already, right now, possess. And here's where the guidance got really specific. They told her to embody Kuan Yin, who is the bodhisattva of compassion. The guide said to Gretchen, she is within you. Nothing can disturb her mindfulness and inner peace. And this wasn't just, a nice, flowery thought. It was a practical tool, a real tangible archetype of peace that she could connect with inside of herself anytime she needed. But, finding that inner power, it isn't always comfortable. The guides were super direct about this. They basically said that sometimes we need to get shaken up a bit to move all that stuck energy. But they didn't frame it as a punishment. No, it was a catalyst for growth. They were very clear. There is no time to feel self-pity. Oof, direct. And this is where the guides used such a powerful symbol to illustrate the point. The Chariot card from the tarot. I mean, it just brilliantly lays out the choice Gretchen was facing. On one side, you've got being stuck, you've got self-pity and stagnation. But on the other side, you have the Chariot. That's forward movement, willpower, transformation. The message couldn't have been clearer. It's time to get up and make it happen. Okay, so you've redefined your world. You've tapped into your inner power. The final part of this session really zeroed in on the practical nuts and bolts steps you can take to find and, just as importantly, maintain that sense of peace. And the path forward? It was all about authentic living. The guides really pushed her to look at what she's already created, to stop judging herself, and to just do what she loves to do. And then they gave her this incredible instruction: be the alchemist. What a beautiful way to think about it, right? Transforming life's challenges into pure gold.
And what happens when you feel like you just can't do it alone? Well, the guys had some incredibly simple and very direct advice. It was literally emphasized in all caps in the source material, just ask. That's it. It's a huge reminder that our support system, both the people around us and the spiritual kind, is right there, totally ready and willing to help. We just have to find the courage to ask.
This next lesson came from a really personal place for Gretchen. She was grieving because her cat was missing, which is just heartbreaking. But the guides helped reframe even this painful experience into a profound lesson, a lesson in non-attachment. They explained it's not about loving less, not at all. You can still love with your whole, entire heart. But it's about loving without clinging, and honoring that every single being is free to walk their own journey. And to wrap it all up, Tamila, the medium herself, left Gretchen with this one simple, really tender directive. It's something so many of us forget, but it's a core principle of everything. Be as kind to yourself as you are to others. That's it. Compassion has to start with you.
So, what does all of this mean for you, listening right now? Well, Gretchen's very specific reading can really be seen as a kind of universal toolkit, something for anyone who's seeking to live a more empowered life. Ultimately, when you look at it, the guidance delivered 5 key benefits. It gave her an expanded perspective, some much-needed self-affirmation, real actionable steps she could take, a path toward emotional healing, and, of course, a sense of deep reassurance. In a way, a session like this really just acts like a mirror, reflecting back your own highest potential.
And that brings us right to the final takeaway. Gretchen's journey is really an invitation for you to look at your own. It leaves us all with a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? What wisdom is waiting for you if you just make the choice to listen? So, if any of this sparked your curiosity and you want to explore the approach we've talked about today, you can learn a lot more about Tamila and her work over at guidesofwisdom.com. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.